Snakewood and that hustle. Big shout out to SPI, Spotter Low. You know, I'm in the black box. Had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.
80% curriculum. And 2% not. Just the, the vulnerability of it. And, when we first hit the category of institution, he was 100% against it. Because he just, in his mind, he thought that it was all about boxing. And so I had the union representative here at this tournament, cat named Evans, go back around and swing it to him again. With a different understanding.
Okay.
And basically, what I was there, I was explaining it to him in great detail. Just let me know that the program ain't it's a 16-week curriculum. Outside of the basic fundamentals of boxing training. And so, week 1 of the boxing curriculum is CBT, bro.
What's that?
Cognitive, behavioral therapy. And so the cohort of CBT is reducing violent behavior. You know what I'm saying? And so it's a whole teaching point of reducing violent behavior.
Okay.
And in particular, the YOP here at the prison, these youngsters,
YOP, what they stand for?
So, youth offender prisoners. And so, as you know, bro, back in the day when we was younger, coming through the system, bro, we didn't have this outlet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Young nigga come on the yard and dive head into the politics and the bullshit.
No doubt.
And the gang culture in prison. And you know what that look like, Spider. You know ASU, then the SU program.
Extra time.
Yeah, that shit was repetitive and it was extra time. So now, we done figured a lot of shit out, man. Trial and error.
Correct.
Yeah, to help these youngsters, man, that's coming through here, don't make the same mistakes and the same bullshit errors that we made.
It's only right.
And so, the first week, the curriculum is, reducing violence, and as we know, man, violence is a reality of many incarcerated communities.
Definitely.
Some of us grew up in homes where yelling, hitting, normal shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Violence was normal. So, you know, we come up off the east side, so, you know, violence is a normal thing. We normalize that. You know what I'm saying? And so, I just learned that on the street.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
And so, you know, others learned that on the street that Harlem was a way to gain respect.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then throughout these walls, I feel like the only way to survive and prove yourself.
So often it is. You're right.
Is violence may offer moment of power. In the end, it takes more than it gives. It takes opportunity. It takes relationships, and it also takes freedom.
True.
And I say that to experience, man, because you know when I first came in, man, I was caught up in a lot of bullshit, man. A lot of violence and all this old stuff, man. And that shit caused me to lose a relationship with my oldest daughter and her mother.
Mm.
And so I was never able to recover from that. You know what I'm saying?
How old is she?
And so now, man, my oldest daughter is 21. And so I've been in prison, man, her whole life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's just some of the last.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
That's just some of the losses that we take, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? On the flip side, man, psychologists, man, they have studied violence among youth and adults for decades.
Mm.
The research is clear. Violence is not destiny.
Violence is not what?
People raised in the house, it's not destiny, bro.
Okay.
You know, even people raised in the most violent environments, there are new ways to think and act. And one of the most effective approaches is something that I just told to you, man, CBT. And that's cognitive behavioral therapy. So, and that teaches people to recognize harmful thought patterns
Mm.
and replace them with healthy ones.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And another proven method is structured physical training. That's where the boxing program comes into play.
Mm.
And so what we do is we fix in PDT with structured physical training. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And we're going to go for 16 weeks straight. So that's just the first one.
And who is it going to be provided? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was asking, like, who is it going to be provided to? Like, how do you qualify for the program, or how is it going to be accessed?
Okay, so it's going to be an application process. once they get the application, they'll fill it out. And at the top of that application, it'll be a whole criteria that they would have to abide by to get into the program. So one of the most important criteria is being LVR wants to clean for a year. You know what I mean? So you can't have no disciplinary action. And if you get into the program, you can't get no LVRs. Good. You know what I'm saying? So this is something that me and a couple of the buddies have been working on this. We talk long and hard about it, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And we even got with, with CDCR, man, the park. You know what I'm saying? And the program, it's a high expectation to come to status, man. And so it's really addresses the disciplinary process.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
It really addresses what's going on in real time with these nurses. So you can't have an LVR provider.
Mm.
You can't have an LVR for man.
Mm.
You can't have an LVR for disrespectful staff.
Mm.
Male or female. You can't have no activities for LTG. And LTG is a security threat group.
Mm.
And that's what they're using. That's what they're using right now to validate a lot of these systems, bro.
Mm.
Back in our time.
Thank you for using Global Tail Link.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, back in our time, yeah, man, they carried up a lot of systems validated for it's easy now. So all we do now, they keep telling you, they observe your program, they observe your conduct. They see who you hang out with. To get a couple of 115s to some fights, 2-on-1, 3-on-1. And the next thing you know, man, they're pulling you out, taking pictures of your tattoo, and they slap you with an STD.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So it's a totally different process now. And so I put these things and I add them to the disciplinary process for the police.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get caught up in any of this shit, it'll result in termination, man. On the program for 12 months.
Okay, 12 months.
12 month cycle. Before becoming eligible, so you're entering in the training program again. So there's being put high in terms of expectations in terms of standards. You know what I mean? That's around the guy. And so, in today's meeting, the instructor told me, say, hey, man, your expectations and your competition is extremely high. And this program is the highest. It's the highest they've ever seen. And this came from a guy named Rich Goodwin. And I don't know if you're aware of our second call out there in LA.
Not off top. I mean, that ring, it sounds has a familiar ring, but I couldn't describe it and tell you what it is.
All right, so second call is an organization that's ran by Skip Pence.
Oh, that's why it sounds familiar. Okay.
Right, and so they had the resources, man, for reentry
Mm.
for cats getting out of prison. And so the goal, the aim, is to also connect second class to this boxing program. Because that way, these guys can get a certification through a pathway of career opportunities. You know, if they want to continue in boxing, or if they want to work with the construction union, they want to work with the oil refinery, Metro, etc. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
It's blending.
Is somebody else trying to call me from up there? Let me see.
This is Global Tellink. You have a prepaid call from
Daniel Kelly.
an incarcerated individual at the California State Prison, Solano, Vacaville, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? What's happening with you?
My name's Daniel. Yes, sir.
It seems like every time we get 3 people on there, the echo go crazy.
Yeah.
That happened last time. Pleasure to meet you, Dave.
Yes, sir. Likewise. Yeah. So we were talking about the introduction of the boxing program to the institution here. Yeah. Father, we can just put that to the side. We can, for right now, we can just give young soldier, you know, the floor to introduce yourself, man.
All right. Well, we could do that then. We could do that. Welcome to the Black Box.
Yeah, you. Yes, sir. Welcome to the Black Box, man.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
Well, my name's Daniel. I've been incarcerated for the last 18 plus years. I've been through hell and back, but I'm on the right side of things right now. And I'm just so grateful right now to be here today. And I give my gratitude to you and TC for giving me the opportunity to be here. But just to tell you a little bit about myself, I got incarcerated at the age of 19. I was keeping a life sentence. And for a minute, I was in, a serious lifestyle of dysfunction. And so in the self-discovery, I found myself and I started embracing transformation.
Mm.
And so as of right now, I'm a certified Medicaid peer support specialist from the California Mental Health Services Authority. And I'm currently a uncut producer for the Uncut podcast, for the Uncut podcast and radio series here at Solano State Prison.
Hmm. Where is that? Is that on YouTube or where we can find that at?
You can find that on any platform that has any podcast,
Okay.
YouTube, and the Uncut podcast is basically a platform where it empowers people in prison to tell their own stories.
Mm.
And it's a program from KALW Public Media in San Francisco that falls under.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Mm-hmm.
That falls under NPR. So I advise anybody listening to tune in to the Uncut podcast to hear the stories of the incarcerated.
And do you have like a co-host? Is that something you do all alone or is it a team?
It's a there's different it's a storytelling slash radio series podcast. So for instance, we structure stories to show the humanity of the incarcerated individuals.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You want to share any of those stories? Because, all we know is you went to jail young, almost 20 years ago. You told us that you're embracing the positive, but outside of being on the podcast, like, you have any stories that you want to share with us or experiences throughout your transition from being 18 and 19, now you almost 40, I would imagine. Like anything like as far as details you can share with us that impacted you or that would impact a listener?
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you for asking me that question. So I'm really serious about my transformation, and it's basically all I do. I wake up, eat, work out, and breathe and sleep transformation. You feel me? So
This call and/or telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
back when I was let's go back in 2016,
Mhm.
I found myself, once again in the hole,
Mhm.
and for a distribution charge,
Mhm.
and I had to serve an 18-month term. And so I like to say that my mama's words of doubt with the combination of embracing higher education is what kind of fueled me to first to embrace the transformation. So I was in the hall one day, and I get a letter from some female that I was corresponding with, and she tells me something about what my mama said, right?
Mhm.
You have
And that
remaining.
saying something in the sense of I'm not trying to do nothing. I'm not trying to better myself, and I'm not trying to reach my full potential.
This call and/or telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
And so forth and whatnot. And coming from my mom, it kind of really irked me.
Mhm.
So one day I seen the educator staff walk down the pod, and I pulled them over.
Mhm.
And so I asked them, how can I get my GED?
Mhm.
And so he gave me all the materials and whatnot. And I went hard. I went hard to try to prove my mama wrong. You feel me?
Mhm. Right.
In prison, it's hard to try to kind of make people understand out there, their loved ones, how the dynamics of prison works.
Right. Right.
And so it's kind of hard to get into programs or education when you're a lifer.
Mhm.
And so her words of doubt, it just sparked it. It was like fuel. And then when I really got my GED, getting out the hole, it was like a different world for me,
Mhm.
because once I got my GED, an instructor like kind of told me, hey, are you willing to go to college? And to be honest, at that time, the expectations of where I come from weren't too high. And so I always figured like I was not smart enough for college. So when I gave it a shot, did the registration, I ended up uh, embracing college and higher education And it was just like a new world that opened up for me to where I'm like, okay, this is, I always doubted myself. I always thought I had a learning disability. But it was just that I needed to learn my learning style to retain what I'm learning. So once that education came in my life, it was over because I, I seen the truth of what the prison life was about. And in higher education is where I, I found where my mentality was actually valued.
Mm.
Nowhere else was I valued the way education values your mind, your insight, and your understanding. You feel me?
That makes sense.
So for me, I just took it on head on, and I love what he was doing to me because once you know, you cannot not know.
Mm-hmm.
Once that bell rings, you can't.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Once that bell rings, you can't pretend like you didn't hear that bell
Mm-hmm.
or heard that bell, right? So once you know the truth, it changes the dynamics of your perspective, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So from 2016 to now, I've never thought I would be where I'm at right now mentally, you know?
Do you have a date?
I have a date, but I'm a lifer though.
Okay. Okay. Well, you got in on the tail end, man. Make sure TC give you action and calling back maybe next Friday or the next one after that. I want to hear more what you got to say.
Snake Wood Net Hustle. Big shout out to SPI, Spotter Low. You know, I'm in the black box. Had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned.